Everybody ready? I'll call the meeting of the Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners to order. It's September 15th, 2025, 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. I'm going to lead our minds in prayer. I've asked Commissioner Smith to lead us in the pledge, so if you'll silence your devices, we'll get started. Let us pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father in heaven, Lord, we thank you for this, another beautiful day, an opportunity that we have to come here and assemble ourselves together to conduct the business that has been set before us. We ask, Father, that you would guide our minds and hearts in the right direction, that we would look at the issues and try our best to make the right decisions that would benefit the citizens of this county and all of us that live here and strive here and live on this earth. We ask, Father, that you would be with the ones that are sick, that you would put your healing hand on them and give them their portion of health that they so desire to be back with us once again and take their place in life, wherever it may be. We ask that you be with our military as they serve and throughout the world and keep us free. We pray, Father, that we'll always be free and we can come and go without fear from man, that we can assemble ourselves many more times like this in the future. Be with our first responders, our police, reporters, whoever they may be, that you would protect them in every way possible as they put their life on the line each and every day. We ask, Father, that you would forgive us of our shortcomings. We realize from time to time that we sin, and in doing so, we separate ourselves from thee, and there's nothing worse than being separated from our God. But we know from our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, giving his life on the cross and shedding his blood, that he gave us an opportunity for salvation, and we can ask for forgiveness, and we can be forgiven if we do it with the right heart, and that we'll be found righteous in thy sight once again, and we're so thankful for that. Go with us now as we go through this meeting. We thank you for your patience, your love, your long suffering, and everything that you give us each and every day. We just ask, Father, that you would bless us, continue to be with us. In Christ's precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Dress flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Sharon Langford will not be here today, so she's asked to be excused, so we'll conduct business. Okay, is there any agenda changes?
I have none, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Duke?
None, Mr. Chairman. I have one, Mr. Chair, if it would be okay, if we could move the Department of Health contract before the county administrator's report.
Okay. Anybody have a problem with that?
No, sir. That's
Motion approved agenda with noted change.
second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the agenda with a noted change of moving the health department before the county administrator on the agenda. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Everyone have an opportunity to look at the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Public participation. Anybody like to address the board at this time? Okay, you'll have an opportunity now, and you'll have one at the end of the meeting. Okay, constitutional officers, Sheriff?
Good afternoon, Bobby Schultz, Sheriff. No bad news. I want to keep you up to date on the issue that's going on with immigration. As of right now, we don't have much of a problem, but there could come a point, I don't know the numbers, how many folks have we brought in or the other agencies have brought in, but the challenge that we're going to have is these are criminal, and they are criminal, civil arrest warrants are coming in, so classifying the folks coming in, it's been challenging about where do you put them, because you can't put them with everybody. So while we have a beautifully new jail, we are limited on where we can put those. No one can anticipate that we'd have to have some housing. It's usually up to 48 hours, so it wouldn't be a long term. But in the event that we do, say someone was to bring in 7 folks and they're being held for ICE for being transported, we would be moving inmates from our jail to Dixie County or Lee County to hold them for a short period of time in order to be in compliance, so we don't have any legal or litigation on us for housing inmates with the wrong classification. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rather than wait for it to happen, I wanted y'all to know, so if the clerk's office was to get a bill for something, you would know what it is. It's not nothing more than that. We think we may have some remedies to it. We're doing our best. I think we're around 60 to 65 inmates right now, but our position, we had to move some out in order out of a cell or a pod to make room for them in the event that we had to hold them for 48 hours.
Do you know if we would get reimbursed at one point?
No, so we will not be getting reimbursed unless it's over that time frame. My understanding, I've been on phone calls.
Up to the 48 hours, no, after
That's
that.
on us. That's on the county,
Mhm.
how I understand it. There's other ways of getting reimbursed. Right now, it doesn't affect us whatsoever. But as this goes on, there may be some ways of getting reimbursements, but for this particular issue, as it stands now, my understanding is that they figured out the transportation. Alachua County be transporting for us to these other facilities. But we have had a number of folks come in, and there's been a couple times we've been like, what do we do? But I want y'all to know, being transparent, that if y'all got a bill for something where housing inmates in another county, it's like, holy smokes, it's gonna be a lot of money, but it could add up to a lot if we were to have an uptick of folks being arrested on these civil warrants. Yeah, I just want to let y'all know that.
Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay, anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to the health department.
Natalie McKellar, for the Department of Health, and with me is Rakisha Duncan. She is our Senior Human Services Program Manager.
What, could you tell us her name again?
Rakisha Duncan.
Keisha. Hello, Keisha. Thank you. Welcome.
She manages a lot of our community health programs like Healthy Families. A program called Healthy Liaison, which used to be Minority Health, Healthy Babies, Heart Health. So you'll see Rakisha and her team out in the community quite often. But I want her to meet you all and get a sense of the commission.
All right. Well, thank
But-
you very much.
We're here for our contract for the year. It starts October 1, and the amount did not go up. In other news with the environmental health, I think we're going to have environmental health OSPDS septic program for quite a while. At least another year, we may keep it. I just don't know. I think DEP is going back to the legislature to ask for clarification. And so we're looking at possibly 2026, maybe 2027. So I think we're going to have septic for a while. So we're going to beef up our staff again.
Good. Well, you pretty well already been here and talked about how you provide services, and I think what was it, 88,000 or so?
Yes.
And which is a great deal from Gilchrist County, and we appreciate what you all provide to us.
Thank you. We're happy to do it.
Y'all very busy.
We are.
I've been in there before, y'all very
Thank
busy.
Well, welcome to Gilchrist County.
I think we're looking for a motion to approve the contract.
Correct.
Yeah, motion to approve the contract with the health department.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the contract between Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners and the State of Florida Department of Health for operation of the Gilchrist County Health Department, contract year 2025-2026. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll move to Mr. Bonner.
Yes, sir. My agenda starts at item number 6, basically in the road department. The first item is resolution 2025-33. It's for our SCOP for construction and CEI of Northeast 30th Street, from which is better known as Dixie Grade, from State Road 47 and Northeast 58 Terrace. It's an amount of $2,345,000. By passing of this resolution, that will pass the actual grant documents as well. This is not, as you probably noticed, the full length of Dixie. We do have the design for the full length of Dixie. And then once we go out to bid, we'll be working with the DOT to try to pave the entire length of the road.
I went up and talked to Jordan Green, it's been quite a while back, but they're very good about helping us out, so my hope and prayer would be that we get it from 47 to 337 there at the county line. I think there's a total of about 6 miles altogether, but this is up to what we call the Sheffield grade, 58, but, get started and hopefully, get some additional and do it all the way up. That would certainly be our goal.
Yeah, this is, one of the small county supported programs at the state level, and without it, we would have a hard time doing some of this kind of paving. And so anytime we get a chance to thank our legislative leaders or the governor or any of those folks that are helping us with that, we should try to do that, because we have some of the best paved roads in, I think, in the surrounding area. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure. We do get a lot of good.
Still think we need to put a sign there coming out of Alachua County. Welcome to the best roads in the state. Yeah.
Bobby, you need to read that.
I move to pass resolution.
I need to read the title.
All right, go ahead.
Resolution number 2025-33, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, approving execution of a small county outreach program agreement with the state of Florida, Florida Department of Transportation for the funds for the construction and CEI of the new portion of Northeast 30th from State Road 47 and Northeast 58 Terrace in Gilchrist County, Florida, authorizing the chairman of the Board of the County Commissioners to execute such agreement and providing an immediate effective date. Effective date.
I move to approve resolution 2025-33.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve resolution number 2025-23. And it's
33.
33, yes.
And we think it'll be next year sometime when they would start on that.
Yes, sir.
And North Florida Professionals has done a lot of the work to,
Yeah, they've done all the design work and they'll help us with the bid work.
yeah.
Long time
Yes, sir.
in the work, believe me, years,
Yes.
25 years. And at one time, it was the most heavily traveled dirt road in Gilchrist County, but
Still is very heavily
it's
traveled.
very heavily traveled and it'll be a plus. And like Commissioner Smith said, we certainly need to thank our state representative, because I don't know how we would even do any without their help. At $1 million a mile, not say, it's, very expensive, but it'll be a fantastic road. Take it off the grading and it'll be good. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
The next item is resolution number 2025-34. I'm gonna go read the title of resolution of the Board of County Commissioners, Gilchrist County, Florida, approving State of Florida Department of Transportation supplemental reimbursement agreement with Gilchrist County, Florida for the design and construction of CEI for the resurfacing of County Road 138 from US 129 to State Road 47. This is an amount of $25,201.52. This was additional funding to the grant when in the process they found some additional culvert damage that needed to be replaced, and so we reached out to the DOT and they added that additional money. So just so you know, the total cost of this project right now that's being funded by the DOT is a little over $6.3 million.
Is it, did they use a new material for culverts that they didn't use 40, 50 years ago? Cause it seems like they used to put in a culvert, it was there forever. Now they put it in a culvert and 20 years later, it's collapsed somewhere and got to be dug up and replaced.
These may be some 40, 50-year-old culverts.
Oh, okay.
Culverts there. They were concrete and just the concrete starts to deteriorate over a period of time. Some of that is now when they put them in, they like to pack them with flowable fill instead of dirt, so it houses that casing a lot better. But a lot of the reason for this was, it's just several of those culverts you started seeing an indention in the road, so without x-ray and going through all that, it's just as cheap to go through and replace the culverts. Time you found out whether they were good or bad, you could have replaced them.
And they putting in concrete ones now.
Yeah.
I think they've got them all done except the newfound one is the only one they hadn't done.
I think the extension was this one.
And then they should start paving the road.
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion to approve resolution 2025-34.
have a motion by Commissioner Smith, a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve resolution number 2025-34. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure Ms. Bryant already has these for you to sign, if you will please sign them for her. However, tomorrow you may receive a DocuSign email from DOT. If you do, you need to go in and do the DocuSign as well. They're trying to get totally away from us sending the paper ones. Just let us know that you received those and that you've signed them, and then that way Ms. Karen will know whether to mail these or not. Okay, sir?
Okay.
The next item is our annual monitoring hazardous waste generation agreement. This is through our solid waste, amount of $2,697. It's with North Central Florida Regional Planning Council. Each year they monitor the businesses that generate hazardous waste for us, which is required. They've been doing this for some number of years. This will not be paid until next year, but we need to be prepared to pay it first part of the new budget year. And, but with the approval, we'll go ahead and execute it and have it ready to pay. And it is a budgeted item for next year.
Motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the agreement between, Gilchrist County and the Planning Council for monitoring of the solid waste. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Yes, sir. Next items that we have here under fire and EMS. The first item is our public emergency medical transportation letter of agreement. For some years now, we have an agreement with the Agency for Healthcare Administration where they will bill us a little bit later on, and we will send them an amount not to exceed $235,235.38. In return, they will send us $314,636.93. This is adjustment for, is it Medicaid or Medicare?
Medicaid.
For Medicare premium.
Motion to approve letter of agreement.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve the public emergency medical transportation letter of agreement. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. I wish they'd all do it.
Mr. Chairman, the next three items, I'd like to just go ahead and make a blanket statement for them. These are all in next year's budget. They will be paid next year. But the reason we're bringing them for approval today, if we acknowledge that we're gonna, use these applications for next year before the end of this month, we will miss out on about an 8% price increase that goes in effect in October. So by us going ahead and approving them and getting them submitted, then we will not have to pay until next year. We just lock our pricing. So,
You're talking about B, C, and D.
yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's ProCare, Zoll, and Power Load?
Yes, sir. The first one is, our ProCare 2025 Striker Preventative Annual Service Agreement. This is the agreement where they come and they maintain and keep our stretchers working properly. This includes the batteries and all. And also, we're required to do certain maintenance on these and recertify them ever so often. So, and we do this each year. This is the amount of $17,481.
I move to approve the motion to pay ProCare for the maintenance of our, the striker prevention annual service agreement.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the, ProCare Preventive Annual Service Agreement with ProCare. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
The next item is our Zoll Preventative Annual Service Agreement. This is for the defibrillators and monitors, same basis, they maintain and, keep them serviced and working for us, and the total for this agreement is $14,698.
With this is servicing the defibrillators and stuff. Are we gonna need any new defibrillators this year, or just service the old ones we've got? Or cause we bought some not too long ago.
We just got 25 of them.
What's the life expectancy of
Chief
it?
Campbell Fire Rescue, these are not the defibrillators that we bought. These are the cardiac monitors that we keep on the ambulance.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, these are about seven, we have 7 of those monitors. When we bought them, they're about 35,000 a piece. I just got a quote on a new one. We may have some funding coming to purchase another one, 100% funded, and they're about $50,000 now. So this goes through, recertifies them. Any issues we have, they immediately mail us a loaner. They give us free batteries for this, $1,500 a piece. So if we just bought new batteries, it'd be $1,500 a monitor. All that's covered under them. We do this every year just to keep everything up to par. If we get well, I believe they're already gonna give us the funding. If we need to purchase another one this year, it's gonna come 100% funded.
Chief Campbell, would you say this is kind of unavoidable? In other words, it's gotta be done basically to certify and monitor and bring them up to date and all that kind of, it's something that you couldn't just say, well, we're not gonna do that from now on.
You could roll the dice and one repair could cost $10,000.
Yeah.
And then, the best part about this is, and we do have some spare monitors.
Yeah.
But if we have special events or something happens, if one of these monitors goes down, I'll have one in the morning, while they figure out what's wrong with ours and fix it.
Mhm.
And then we don't get a bill for the repair, which is great. But it's the same with the stretcher contracts. One repair on that the stretchers are $30,000 a piece, so one repair on that, would be more than half of the contract price.
Right.
So I would say it's unavoidable, and it's just an insurance policy basically for some very expensive equipment.
Well, sometimes people will ask the question, you know, why do you do that? Why you spend that kind of money and stuff like that? But when you get to the bottom line, it's pretty much gotta be done.
Yes, sir, I would say so.
Just like your stretchers, I mean, they gotta be, certified and they've gotta be brought up to date. You can't just sweep it under the rug.
We had a stretcher damaged, just a couple months ago. They had to come and repair, and it would have been about a $15,000 repair. But we didn't pay anything for it.
Right. Okay.
Todd, do we need some language in this thing about these are continuing service type contracts because they're over the bid amounts? Do the board need to address that?
I mean, I think as long as it's being acknowledged that these are maintenance agreements,
Maintenance agreement?
on existing equipment.
They are maintenance agreements on existing equipment from the original vendor, which is the manufacturer. There
Sure,
is no
okay.
other, so you can consider it sole source as well too.
I like that.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I make a motion to approve the Zoll Prevention Annual Service Agreement.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Thomas to approve the Zoll Preventative Annual Service Agreement. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
The next item is a power load, stretcher quote. This will be for the new ambulance. It's the power load system, and it's the amount of $31,681.29. And it's also with, we need to stay with Stryker, and I think it's actually a sole source for them because our other stretchers are Stryker and they don't interchange with other stretchers.
Right.
When do we expect the new ambulance?
September of next year, at the latest is what I'm told. And this is a piece that goes in that truck. We would like to get it, if we can give them PO on the very first of October, actually probably September 30th, but we'll do a new PO for it October 1. They'll hold the shipping on this for up to 7 months. and we'll drop ship this to the manufacturer. They install it in the truck for us. But this one right here, either 8 or 10% increase is coming after October 1.
So we'll save some by going ahead.
Save a little couple bucks on it, but with them delaying the shipment for 7 months, the warranty doesn't start until they ship.
Okay, good.
So, and that should put us right about the time that Fraser is ready to accept the equipment. And it'll be installed in the truck. We should have the truck about 2 months after we plow the equipment through. And I was with him last week, and he's thinking right around September, we'll be ready to go pick it up.
Does that include the annual maintenance as well?
That one has a warranty on that. So we don't, next year, we'll do the annual maintenance to include that one as well, but this is just for the equipment.
Comes with a 1-year maintenance.
Yes.
Thing. All right, I make a motion to approve the power loader striker quote for, the new power loader.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve the power load striker quote. 31,000. Is there any more discussion?
Yes, sir. So in the motion, we're including that that's being purchased. We're waiving the bidding requirements because of it being like equipment.
Yeah.
It's also a sole source.
Is sole source. Right.
This is, yeah, it's coming straight from the manufacturer.
Agree to that? Yeah. Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one item that's an announcement. Mayor Robbie Corsi of the city of Trenton reached out to me today. She is trying to organize a prayer on the courthouse lawn for September the 28th. She called, wanted to be sure it was okay to use the courthouse lawn. Told her I would bring it up to y'all, but that I hope I didn't step out of line, but I felt like our commissioners would support that since we have done it. We've had those before. So, yep. So that, as we get a little closer and know a little more detail, she's gonna send me some more information about it, and I'll be sure everyone is kept up to date on just when it is. That is on a Sunday, and I think it's gonna be closer to the 6:30 time in the evening as of right now. But I will keep people updated. They plan on trying to promote it very.
Okay.
And is she calling anything specific? Like,
I was thinking, is it a specific event, like pray around the pole or something?
No, she just, she didn't quite yet. She threw out a couple of names, but I think they're just trying to get that nailed down. I think she's gonna have something to us in the next couple of days, but basically she just wanted to be sure it was okay to use the courthouse on to pray for our nation and our basically it's pray for our county, our state, our country, and our nation.
We need it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good information. Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Duke?
Kind of surprising, isn't it?
30.
Yes, at the last meeting, you asked me to prepare a quitclaim deed from, Gilchrist County back to the Gilchrist County School Board for a little 30-foot strip of land that starts on Bell Avenue and goes around to the east side of the property and then turns directly west around the school grounds. So that deed's what's on the screen before you that we need approval for.
Motion to approve the quitclaim deed to transfer property to the school board.
Second. Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve the quick claim deed to Gilchrist County School Board for the property in Belleville.
Yeah, and that will require the chairman's signature as well as the testing by the clerk.
And allow the chairman to sign.
There you go.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Can I ask real quick, Bobby, did they talk about a timeline for getting started on that area, the new entrance to the elementary school? Did we just, okay. Hopefully, sooner better.
Well,
Sheriff might know, I don't know, he's looking like you're kind of inquisitive.
I think in their mind, sooner the better, but he may actually have a date or something, but.
That same meeting, I spoke to them, it was trying to get this stuff done. My understanding is they're gonna try soon. I wouldn't expect it to be done until Christmas break would probably be that'd be my guess, but I know they're gonna try to get it done because that traffic's pretty horrendous. So they know we wanna get it done quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't have a date.
I don't either. I did kind of take a look at that piece of property. It will need some clearing and grubbing, but it doesn't look like it's too bad for where they're going. So maybe the project can move along pretty quickly. They haven't notified us when they'd like the rock, but we've already started trying to set some rock aside so that when they get ready, we'll have it.
And if I remember, you told them they had to have the time to get the rock prepared, so.
Yeah, Superintendent, Geiger was at Rotary last week and gave an update on just school stuff in general. Did a good job, as she mentioned that particular project, and, also that maybe you had worked with them on some other ideas to get traffic off of around by the elementary, instead of everybody staying out on Bell Avenue, being able to stack vehicles in, which is helping along that as well.
We're being creative. I think Lieutenant Weatherford's been working up there, but this right here, I think Mr. Crosby would agree, should eliminate a lot of the problems. It's never gonna eliminate all the problems that we have, but this will get everybody off the Bell Avenue, because right now they're coming in one way, they're all leaving the same way.
Right.
You got school coming in and out, the high school.
You got buses coming in and out, the disaster.
But thank y'all very much for doing that so fast and so quick, because it's needed. Again, not gonna fix all the problems, but I do believe that it'll eliminate a lot of the problems that we're having, and it's certainly a safety issue. So thank y'all very much for what y'all done for that.
Good.
The final thing I had, Mr. Chairman, was the amendment to the, contract for employment authority to represent the county based upon the increase in salary that you proposed back during the budget time. That will become effective October the 1st.
Motion to approve that amendment to the contract.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas, and a second by, Commissioner Smith to approve the, contract, Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners and Duke Lane. Any more discussion? Now, we talked about this in the budget process, and we included it all in there? It's all done? Okay.
It's in the budget.
I know we talked about it, and you said, let's do this before we do that. I just wanted to make sure I understood it right.
Yeah, it was added in the last changes.
Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed. Now we have a 4:30 concert.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mr. Justin.
Thank y'all for coming.
I am gonna give my speech. I gotta find it. No, Justin's waiting on.
Take your time.
Members of the board, this is a quasi judicial hearing. This is what is referred to again as quasi judicial because it's site specific. The board, at the conclusion of the hearing, will render a decision on the requested action. The board decision has to be based upon substantial competent evidence. Mere opinion is not considered substantial competent evidence. The chair, commission members, party, or staff can raise an objection to irrelevant and immaterial testimony or evidence or testimony that's unduly cumulative or repetitious of previously presented testimony. At this time, if any board member has had any ex parte or outside contact with the applicant or members of the public on the matter before you, you should now disclose that on the board to remove any presumption of prejudice. Hearing none, if any board member has a conflict of interest in the matter, you need to disclose that conflict on the record and file a memorandum form 8B with the clerk. Okay. Our order of proceedings, the staff, we're going to present the application followed by question from the board. The applicant will then make their presentation, if any, followed by question from the board. There can be rebuttal of testimony by staff or applicant, followed by public input, evidence and comment. There will then be deliberation by the board. You can vote to deny, approve, or approve with conditions. As we also stated, the section 12.0902 of the Land Development Code states the applicant has the burden of proving by preponderance of the evidence that the proposal satisfies the applicable requirements and standards of the Land Development Code. With that being said, that's our little, pre-statement there. Does anyone have any questions? If not, at this time, if it's okay, I'll go ahead and swear in our staff member. You'd raise your right hand, state your name.
Justin Taylor.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, our witness and staff member have been duly sworn.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the dais. My name is Justin Tabor with North Florida Professional Services, presenting to you under our planning services agreement for land use and zoning administration. This presentation will cover 3 applications in total. The first is SMD 2025-01, which is a special mapping decision application. The other 2 applications are a special use permit 2025-03 and the site plan 2025-03. All 3 applications are requests by Jillian Minivere, PE of Minivere Engineering, on behalf of Paul Snelts, who is the property owner. The applications propose the placement of a food truck court with 2 food truck pads, as well as a freestanding ice sales building. The subject property is located at the northeast corner of County Road 340 and State Road 47. Access to the property is proposed to be provided by way of County Road 340. The site has been designed to place the access point as far to the east as possible to eliminate potential impacts in between ingress egress to the site and the intersection of State Road 47 and County Road 340. The development includes 1 stormwater management facility, which will be located to the northeast corner of the site. The current zoning of the subject property is Agriculture 2, A2. As part of this application, as noted, a special mapping decision is proposed, which would apply the neighborhood commercial overlay district to the property. The land located to the west of State Road 47, Hudson's Food Market, as well as the newer Dollar General, both have this designation on the parcels. The neighborhood commercial overlay district is intended to provide small-scale retail establishments which serve the convenience needs of the adjacent areas and within the rural areas of the county. The district is also intended to be utilized in areas where the county's population need warrants the location of small retail service establishments to serve the surrounding neighborhood. These applications have been reviewed for consistency with the county's comprehensive plan. The applications are found to be consistent with your comprehensive plan. With respect to the special mapping decision, section 12.07 of the Land Development Code sets criteria for the establishment of this district and states that the county commission will apply the standards that set forth in section 3.05.02B through D, as well as section 3.05.03. An analysis of the application's consistency and compliance with those criteria has been provided within our evaluation and findings report. And if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to address those. With respect to the special use permit, section 12.03.03C establishes the standards for the approval of special use permits. Once again, the report that's been provided to you details the application's compliance with those standards, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have that may be specific to that. Lastly, as it relates to the site plan, section 12.02.10 establishes the standards for the approval of site plans with which the site plan application is found to be compliant. With respect to environmental conditions, there were no known conditions that would preclude the development of the site. And with respect to public facilities, the impacts that would be generated by the proposed development are acceptable and would not degrade the level of service of any monitored public facility. Our recommendation to you this evening is to approve the applications in 3 separate motions. And I am happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding any of the 3 applications.
I have a question. At one time when this property was for sale, there were some right-of-way issues as far as the front of that property being on county right-of-way. Has those issues been resolved?
As far as I'm aware, I'm going to look to the engineer to confirm that everything is, would be on the site at this point. I think whatever may have existed prior would be resolved by this application. Yes, sir.
Mr. Langford,
Yeah.
when they tore down the older building that was there, that
The
resolved
portico,
those issues.
portico was out in the,
Portico was what was out.
you know, the
there.
porch
So when
where
that-
the gas.
Yeah, and the first
Oh,
building.
okay.
So when that was removed, those were, and they are very well defined. defined mapping lines for where.
Yes.
the
So it was more of
property
a
line-
structural issue than it was the land itself, more of a
Yeah,
structural.
yes, sir.
Yeah, where the location of the building was
Okay.
violated the right of way.
I know there was an issue there.
It was.
It was, yeah.
That sounds familiar now that, Mr. Crosby said that. So yes, that was the issue that I had seen too, reviewing those in the back of my mind.
Now, that, I'm very familiar with the property, used to be an old store there and stuff like that, but
Yes, sir.
the ingress egress is gonna be right there at that turn lane. Actually, that's a turn lane where that property starts right there. You don't think that's gonna be an issue, do you?
Right, access has to come from somewhere, right? So we did work with the, engineer to try and push that and design it in the best manner that it could be.
Yeah.
Of course, access via, County Road 340 is probably, a better choice than State Road 47.
Oh, yeah, no
And
doubt.
then, and then they've designed that to try and push that as far as they possibly can, within the context of their boundary of their property.
Yeah, I would try to get it right where the property starts, because you're gonna get over in that turn lane, you're gonna be right there on the driveway, basically, if you get in that turn lane. I just,
Yes, sir.
you know,
Isn't there a Church of Christ located right there beside that too, isn't it?
it's a quarter mile down the road, the church, northeast church.
Yeah, Justin, would the DOT have to approve that entrance and coming across those turn lanes, or?
So they're not making any modifications within the right of way of, State Road 47, so
Right.
FDOT wouldn't be involved. It really is
Okay.
just up to the discretion of the board with that being a county road.
So it would meet other state, paved road requirements? that-
Right, I mean, when it's being designed, it's being designed to adhere to the state's, manual for design,
Okay.
to the best of the ability. Of course, there's sometimes some constraints to that, than what we're working with, but
I like the layout as far as the way they got it laid out, and it does, according to this picture, it does start almost right at the corner of the property. And then the way they got the food trucks up front for exposure,
right.
and then the retention in the back and the drive around and all. I like the way.
Yeah, and
I have two things I'd like to say if I could, just,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think it's important to get it in the record is, the chairman's already mentioned one time that this was a pre-existing business, had been there. I think that's considered a non-conforming use of that property, which, because it had been utilized for years and years and years before the land development code actually came into effect, because it's only a 1 acre parcel. So if people ask us why they're allowing a 1 acre parcel to be used in an A2 category
Yeah.
where it requires a 5 acres
Right.
to be used, that would be because it's a non-conforming lot of record, and you're proposing the special mapping decision to make that a neighborhood, commercial overlay district
Right.
to allow that. Is that correct?
Right, I believe your non-conforming status would have expired. I think they have to continue that within 12 months of it, ceasing operations. So technically at this point, you're reestablishing the commercial use, but you are correct, and that's noted in the report as well as by the applicant, that it is a lot of record. So even though it's not the 5 acre minimum by the A2 zoning, it is a legally established lot that predates your code.
That's what I wanted to make sure that we
Yes, sir.
had in the record.
It wouldn't have to be rezoned to neighborhood commercial, or your mapping process would do that.
So that's part of this action would be, applying the neighborhood commercial overlay to the property. So we'll still have the A2, base layer, but then you'll also have the overlay district of neighborhood commercial if you approve this evening.
And that was done at the dollar store, Mr. Tommy,
Right.
and across at Mr.
Right.
Smith's property. But that's your decision to
Right.
overlay that district, and there's certain criteria. You can't get it at every intersection in the county. It has to be in certain, locations to be authorized.
That's correct. It has to be either at the intersection of two collector roads or collector and arterial, and within a quarter mile of an intersection, which this is, and we've looked at those criteria and find that it meets the standards.
If my memory serves me correct, those gas tanks have been removed,
Yes, sir. I believe everything has been removed from the site.
because they did have gas there at one time.
Yes, sir.
Would they be required to, I know you got a couple pads for food trucks, would they be required to have any kind of on-site wastewater or septic or?
So we did discuss that with your building official,
Okay.
because they're food trucks. His opinion was that the building code will not require any kind of restroom facilities or anything to that effect. Because it is, even though they are semi-permanent, it's still transient in nature. So, that was one thing that we did consider too, yes, sir.
My question was, are they gonna be the same food trucks
Are they gonna be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Are they gonna be the same food trucks? Are they gonna bring in different types of food trucks? Just,
Yeah, I would have to probably defer to either the applicant or the agent. They have it designed so that, there are bollards where they can remove the trucks. I don't know if they're intended for them to be there, on a more permanent basis. That's what I would think. Maybe with some rotation out, but, when the agent speaks, perhaps he can give you some more insight into that.
My
Well, I
son
think a
said one
food
of the-
truck by its very nature and definition is supposed to be mobile.
yeah, so
Like, it can't
I was
stay there.
wondering if they were
Can't
gonna
take
be-
the wheels off and make a
They would
permanent
still,
structure out of something.
right, they would still have to be, a
mobile.
tag vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible because you are kind of establishing, a food truck park, if you will. So they may be there on a more permanent basis, but yeah, they do have to be able to be removed, immediately.
Fort White has one of those food trucks.
Yes, sir.
My son said one of the requirements is one of them food trucks has to be Chick-fil-A. They have a mobile
We can,
unit,
we can talk to the folks in Lake City about that. I know the Lake City store's got a mobile one.
Well, there's one that comes to Bell about once or twice a month or
Okay,
something.
yeah, They rotate, they cover quite a wide area, so we can maybe move them a little bit here. So,
Now, this is Paul, the same guy that was your.
yes, sir, this is, the property owner is the same as the one that you heard at your last meeting.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Okay.
Do the food trucks have to, I mean, I know we have, any applicable state, whatever permits have to be met, but the food trucks, I'm just curious, do they have to have, the Department of Health? We should have asked while they were still here, but do y'all know?
They are regulated, I believe, by DBPR,
Okay.
Department of Business and Professional Regulation, I'm the one who's serving me.
Okay.
There's a few different divisions that regulate different mobile vendors, but if it's a fully, commercial kitchen food truck, then it's, I believe it's DBPR. So yes, it is regulated one way or the other by the state.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions?
So, I just, again, there gonna be places to sit out there and eat and all that, or just get it and go?
Yes, sir. So they will have a little area where they have kind of like a courtyard pad where, presumably they'd have some tables and chairs to sit, or you can get it and go.
Just wondering, again, I'm wondering sanitation, if you're gonna supply them a place to sit and eat and all that, is there a place they can wash hands or go to the restroom if they need it? Is that needed, or? I didn't know what the rules and regulations are on that.
Well, this is a novelty. We don't have one that I'm familiar with in Gilchrist County like they're proposing to do here. So that's a very legitimate question.
Well, that was my question.
Fort White has.
I think I can answer your question.
Okay,
When it comes to that, the health department does regulate it. So there will be a point where the health department, if they determine certain things, they can make them bring in hand washing stations, and they can make them bring in, porta toilets and that type of thing. The health department does monitor that because there's a couple events that goes, at least one event that goes on in the county from time to time, and they are monitored based on the number of people, is how many they have to have. So that will, and not to go to Justin, but I do know, because I got involved a little bit once before, the health department does monitor a part of these, because they monitor your food temperatures and that type of thing. So the health department is involved in monitoring a food truck. And also it would be, if they see that you've got an area where you've got a certain number of clientele sitting around, they're gonna come in and say, you've gotta have one or two porta toilets. One of those are gonna have to be handicapped. You've gotta have so many hand washing stations, and that will come in. So, that kind of goes to the part where we always say, okay, you gotta go with all these other folks and find out what you gotta have as well as what we do. So, yes, sir. So that is monitored by the health department.
They're certainly valid points, and I think, like Mr. Crosby's saying, they would be addressed by the state permitting.
I do oysters, and, I know I'm required, just as a processor, to have restroom facilities. I'm also required to have my coolers checked, everything they come in and expect me about every 2 or 3 weeks, and it's a it's a very thorough inspection of my coolers and my restroom facilities and my lighting and my flow backs on water and it's different things I have to do. So I just figured some of those regulations were in there would be also applicable to this if they're doing food and so I thought when I didn't see a place for porta johns or a restroom facility, I'm thinking that might ought to be thought about, because if it's as popular as I think it might be, it's gonna be something that might be an issue.
Well, remember when we started, I told you you can admit, deny, or approve with conditions. Now, this is being done a little different than when I used to do them for you. We used to do them in two stages. We do an SUP and then they had to come back to the next meeting and do the site plan. These are combined. This is, first the approval. If you say yes, then the site plan approval is gonna come out of the same hearing that Justin's talking about right now. And that's a condition that can go in there if you have any issues with the sanitation or with the eating on site. So, before you approve it, you need to make sure that that's what you're going to do.
Well, that will be controlled by the DEP then, basically.
Yeah.
So whether we require it or not, if DEP comes in and says, you gotta have them, they have to have them whether we've approved it or not.
Well, I
right?
guess what I'm saying, if you say, no, you can't eat on site, you can go to the mobile food truck and get your stuff, but you can't sit down on the site because we don't want to get into all that with the regulation of the hand washing, sanitation, bathrooms. That's a decision that you can make.
I don't mind if they have a place there to eat, I think it'd be nice, but when I didn't see it
It's
in
good
here,
point.
it's something they need to think about, I guess.
And it's a novel venture, like I told you.
Yeah.
We're not used to that.
The one in Fort White, do they have restroom facilities at it, or do you know?
I don't remember. I've only stopped there one time. I
I
can't.
know they have one in Gainesville also out by the bus depot, and I haven't ever been out there to see, but
The
I
one
think
in
it's a
Fort
neat
White-
idea.
the one in Fort White is really popular. They have like 4 or 5 trucks. It's real popular. And they do have a place to sit down and eat.
Do they move them in and move them out, or are they permanent?
No, most of them just leave them there, park them and leave them there and then come on the weekend and open them up. And they're only there like, I think Friday, Saturday and Sunday, only 3 days there.
And that's the question too, is it 7 days a week or just weekends, and I guess that will be for them.
Right, and there's nothing as far as conditions that we've proposed that would establish certain days. Mr. Lang said if he wanted to do that, that would be within his purview. Up to this point, we did propose a condition related to the hours of operation, but it did cover the entire week. So
Right.
anything that you wanted to do beyond that, then that would be a consideration.
I think you probably ought to hear from the applicants.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate. And if you have any other questions for me, we can continue. I'm happy to come back.
All right.
And then the public, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, staff members, Bill Menadier, Menadier Engineering. I've listened to the discussion and I think we're on to something. Mr. Tabor did a good job introducing the project, explaining the project, some of the design aspects of the project. I'll try to touch on some of the questions that were brought up. As far as the restroom facilities, right, they're not required, so we're not proposing it. But the reason we're not proposing any kind of porta johns or restroom facilities, because the applicant doesn't plan to provide seating. There's a raised flower or planter bed in the middle of the brick paver area, and it'll stand about knee high, and that'll be someplace where somebody can temporarily sit, but they don't plan on providing picnic tables with umbrellas,
Okay.
much like the Fort White one
Yeah.
you mentioned. And again, along the lines of the Fort White, those trucks don't move. These are gonna be mobile. We're providing, I don't know if they have a site plan up there, but we have bollards to keep the vehicular traffic from entering that brick paver area. On the ends, there's removable bollards so that the trucks can enter and exit. And so they plan to rotate.
Caitlin, page 86,
What's the concrete slab for?
86.
The concrete slab in the middle, that's not for picnic tables?
So the brick pavers that they have there is just so that the people congregate and wait, ordering food, not standing in dirt, that grass gets trampled in the summertime, especially in this area, so real sandy. And, so it's really just to provide
Yeah, there's the site plan, Mr.
there you go,
Manager,
yes,
up
sir.
there.
So the raised planter would be, like I mentioned, like a knee-high sort of,
I see the raised planter, but right in the very, very middle, it says concrete slab.
In the middle of
The
the
big
parking
white,
lot.
the big white part.
oh, no, so that, what's that concrete pad is pointing to the ice machine pad. That's a big, landscape island. If you look at our landscape plan, we've got multiple trees in that island. The big white.
And traffic's gonna circle around that,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's see, so that's what the plan is for the seating, and that's why we didn't, provide any, porta johns or restroom facilities. I mentioned that the trucks were gonna be rotating, there's not gonna be any covered pavilions. Yeah, you see the, landscaping we're providing. We were required to provide quite a bit of shade trees, so it's gonna have a decorative look to it when it gets finished. It's gonna be a nice little place for people to stop, and then the ice machine, of course, to serve the springs, the nearby springs and waterways that people are gonna visit. I think hours of operation were brought up, and I didn't mention, but we do agree with the conditions that are in the staff report. There's 9 of them, and I think, one of them speaks to the hours of operation. It says we can't begin before 7 a.m. And then I believe we can operate until, well, it's in the staff report, till 9 p.m. on most days, and then,
10.
Friday and Saturday, we're allowed to go to 10, I
Yeah.
think. Something like that.
Nine is Sunday through Thursday,
Sunday
and then Friday, Saturday is 10.
Friday and Saturday is 10.
You're gonna be open 7 days a week.
The conditions state that. I don't know the anticipated, I think that it really depends on,
Maybe in
How
the
busy
summer,
Tuesday
but
evening
maybe in
is.
the summer, but not all year long.
correct,
Well,
right?
now, both of the other stores, the Marathon and the Dollar General, are open till 10 o'clock at night, both of them. They open, one of them opens at 6, the Marathon does, the, Dollar General opens at 8, but they don't close till 10, 7 days a week. But if you had an 8 by 9 o'clock, you probably got a good time there by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's right. Right.
With the ice machine will be 24 hours or?
The ice machine is automatic, so you
Okay.
can pull in and get your ice and go, for the early morning fishermen and or for the evening folks that want some ice. But yeah, that's automatic. We are providing a photometric plan, so there'll be site lighting to keep it, lit for the safety concerns there that we have addressed with lighting. Other than that, I don't have anything else, specific to point out. Other than to reiterate, we have slid the driveway as far east as we can on 340. We spoke with DOT, they clearly denied any kind of access on their road. And then we also, stormwater wise, addressed FDOT, and they granted us an exemption to stormwater, because everything discharges to the northeast.
I certainly agree with your driveway there, because if you try to come off of 47, that's a major intersection right there. They took that caution light out,
Already.
and it's really dark. I mean, dark. I don't like the idea of doing away with the light, but
Well, it's not even not just the darkness, even during the day, you approach it at an angle. So your mirror and that bar on your car is a blind spot, and so when I get up there, I have to check in front of the blind spot, behind the blind spot, and back around to the front of it to make sure nothing's coming, because I've pulled out there before and been surprised about what I missed. So, it is a dangerous intersection, but hopefully this won't cause any additional danger to that.
I don't think it will.
That,
I like somebody doing something with that property. It's been doing a long time. It was an old country store.
There wasn't, we used to call it 5 Point, they had air tanks there and scuba stuff and.
Well, when I grew up,
Bruce's store.
Mr. and Miss Smith,
Yeah.
that lived right down the road there,
That's right.
they owned it, and it was for the wood yard, the pulpwooders. They used to load pulpwood on the railroad cars down there at the solid waste station where we have now.
Mhm.
There's a ramp and all there, and they would take pulpwood, load it on the rail cars there. And the little store furnished, Cokes and beer and stuff like that, and a gas. They had 2 little gas pumps there. And it was to mainly supply the needs of the working people there for the pulpwooders and all.
Yeah.
But then, the 5 Points did buy it, and, they had a little sub sandwich shop, made a good sandwich.
Mhm.
But, they went out of business, and then Bill bought it and they tried to do a video store one time, and then somebody else bought it and tried to do something else with it. But, it's been down for a long time. But it'll be good to have, another business right there. It will be good for the community, real good.
Well, I think it serves the surrounding area pretty well, just the type of use and the type of people that come through that intersection, especially in the summertime, like you mentioned. One thing, I think you brought up the overhang of the existing building. I just wanted to state that we have a 30-foot setback. So from our property line, we're 30 feet into the site. It's where,
Good.
where our improvements begin. And then, we have the landscaping too.
Yeah, what he's referring to there before you got involved is the portico.
Yeah.
It was the porch. before you got into the store, the gas pumps, that portion was out in the state right away.
Yeah, Bill added that on when he put in the videos and all, he added that on and it was an issue at one time, but it's not an issue anymore. It's all
Not
there.
there. Just for are the food trucks gonna be different ones at different times, or will that really depend on who wants to stay and who wants to go? Is that?
Mr. Commissioner, the only way I can answer that is, we have an office in Tech City and they bring food trucks out to the brewery they have there and they rotate. And I would only imagine that they sort of vie for their spots and they set their schedule and rotate. That would be my best guess, but then again, maybe there's two that he has in mind that are just gonna plant there and sell tacos and corn dogs. I don't know.
If they're not doing well, they might switch them out.
That's right. That's right.
Or somebody might outbid them, you know, sometimes you bid for those spots and
No, that's
whoever
right.
pays the most money gets the spot.
Yeah,
That's right.
I know they do that on store shelving.
all right, well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
How about the public? Anybody from the public like to speak? Yes, sir.
My questions may not be appropriate now. I know there's another, from what Mr. Lang said, another portion of this, but I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea. But on the public safety side, I had a couple of questions. It was probably explained, and I probably can't see good enough to see it. But how many acres is this?
One acre.
And how many food trucks are we gonna be allowed to? And how many parking spots are we gonna be allowing for that place?
10, I think. Wasn't there 10 in there?
I think there's 10.
I see 9 or 10. 1, 2, 3, 4,
One's
5,
ADA.
6, 7, 8, 9 of them.
My next question would be, in the logical, having that store, I'm very familiar with property. I spent a lot of time in my youth at that store. But I also have experience as sheriff when the summer and springtime comes. How are we going to make sure that there's only 10 people parked up there, not on the side of the road trying to get to that food truck? Maybe on purview of the board, but I do catch a lot of questions and concerns about that intersection, and I anticipate in the near future that the role that the sheriff's office plays in some traffic issues will be falling on the sheriff's office. So I want a bunch of caution. I want to make sure that we're all thinking as well as safety. I mean, it is needed, and I think it's a great idea, but with safety concerns, I am concerned about the egress area, and I'm not sure how many traffic crashes we actually have there. Chief Campbell might be able to tell us, but I can see that being very difficult to maneuver during the spring and summer when the folks are coming to visit the springs and our lovely areas that we have with only 10 people being able to park in there.
We may have to put some no parking signs on the right of way like certain areas do, no parking on the right of way, because I'm like you, I can almost visualize them parking on the county right of way and walking over to the food truck rather than going there like they were to. And if all the parking lots took up, where would they park? I mean, I don't know.
I know where they're gonna park. So with that being said, you know, I just wanted to bring that attention. I'm for it.
Yeah.
But those things, as long as the board can consider those things, and there may not be nothing that anybody can do, but I wouldn't be a very good sheriff if I didn't bring up some of those things to attention to you, that it would be a concern. And there's a reason why FDOT won't approve that area for ingress egress.
There are some vendors, that do sit there sometimes, I know people selling watermelons will stop there sometimes, people selling peanuts and stuff like that will stop there sometimes. And people do pull off and park on the county right of way. It's not really ever been an issue because it's one or two at the time, and it's not an established business, but, that would certainly be something to consider.
But again, not talking out both sides of my mouth, I'm for it. Those are the questions that I have, and if the owners of the property could figure out some way of discouraging people from parking on the side of the road, so the sheriff's office isn't called every weekend to try to do traffic control out there, because it will happen.
Right.
And so, just from my experience of it, maybe not, again, I'm for it, just as long as we consider all those issues.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the public?
Have we had any feedback from the public, from anybody otherwise? No. That was advertised with our normal,
The same concerns the sheriff had were the same concerns I had. I don't since I've never attended one of these, I don't know what the turnout is. We don't have one in Gilchrist County, so there's nothing to judge, or we're gonna have 25 cars in there at a time, all trying to get dinner at the same time, or whatever. So I would assume they've done some research on what they would need. Is that a good assumption or not?
Yes, sir, no, that's a valid point, and one I wanted to mention, their estimated daily trips, for both the, ice, sales and the food trucks is around 160 daily trips. And keep in mind, food truck parks, this thing kind of a new concept, so ITE, which is the Institute of Traffic Engineers, Transportation Engineers, there's not a whole lot of studies, and every locality is probably a little bit different, especially here in Gilchrist, with, you've got people in the springs and things, you might see a higher number than what someone might see at another site, so, legitimate concerns. I mean, I would point out, I hear people probably just park wherever they park, but the site has been kind of designed so that a larger truck can make that radius around the, so I think there's some inherent built-in overflow, if you will, beyond the 9 spots. A thought to try and keep the turnover would be if you had a condition that, required, people just to take out only, that would help with that, but then that's a pretty difficult thing to really enforce too, so.
You might have people with campers and whatnot pulling in there, and I guess that curve is big enough, that maybe they can park along the edge, but again, this starts building congestion in there and safety issues and everything else, and they've pretty much filled their acre, so there's not a lot of room for expansion of that if it becomes a problem.
On the site plan itself, is there a fence to keep them off from coming directly off?
They have not proposed a fence along, either of the roads, no, sir.
So how are you gonna keep them from just pulling straight off of 340 or 47 and just pulling straight into the food trucks and not utilizing the driveway?
Well, I mean, in between, there's probably gonna be some grading there that the engineer might be able to speak to, Mr. Minadier. Do you have any kind of swells or anything that would?
Because now I agree with what the sheriff's saying, it's not just the parking, it's if people are coming up 47 and they don't wanna go down 340, can they just pull right in there to the food trucks? There should be something, it seems to me like, that would prevent that from happening, where they'd have to utilize the entrance that's shown on the site plan.
They have to put up a chain link fence or something.
That's
To deter them from parking.
and that's
on
in
the
your
side of the road.
purview to make that a condition, to keep them off of there.
Yeah. I could see it being an issue, is them parking on the county right of way and just walking up to the food truck without going into the designated driveway and going around the ice machine and all.
Right.
Parking on the side of the road.
Yeah, they got their truck and their boat behind them, and they just pull off the side of the road instead of thinking, well, I don't wanna maneuver my trailer or my camper through that parking lot.
But a chain link fence would solve that problem.
And, just to note too, even if you do provide a fence, along the frontage of the road, there still would be room for someone to pull off. It is more of a deterrent to keep people from doing that.
Well, they'd have to, if there's a chain link fence with barbed wire on top, they'd have to walk down.
Right, they're gonna have to walk around it, but,
Just walk up to the food truck.
right,
think could avoid
agreed.
that.
Yes, sir.
Not just saying they wouldn't pull off and walk.
Around it,
in
or
there,
park
but
at the,
they could
right,
just
but you're,
walk.
exactly, it's at least something to, reduce the
Right.
potential for that.
Yeah, can we go ahead? I know I've seen in some areas where you don't want traffic or people pulling off, going ahead and putting reflector type.
Well, sitting there thinking, you gotta be careful. You have to be careful what you put there, because you have to set the liability for what somebody hits if they
Right.
get hurt. That's why you can't put a mailbox on a power pole, because if they hit it, they get hurt, it's a
Yeah.
liability of that person, so however, there's delineators, like the no parking signs, or just reflective delineators that will block along the side that are FDOT approved, that you can place in the clear zone, because if somebody hits one of them, it's just gonna bend or mess.
And that would just be on the county road though, right?
That would be on the
Because
county road,
the
but
state road
I think you're gonna see the state
Yeah.
placing delineators as well.
Mm.
I think is what you would see. And, that may be, honestly, commissioners, that might be, if you approve this tonight, I think you probably should approve this, that we come, that we do come up with some type of delineators that the owner will provide, pay for. I think we probably should place them for the liability, but it would be at their expense. I can work with the DOT as well too on what their regulations are, because we usually match their regulations, but it would be at the owner's expense, and we put something that is approved by the FDOT book. And, you know, let's don't try to come up with what we want to put there.
Right.
Let's do something that would be protected by the liability side of it, and, maybe at the expense. Now, I will say this, and that's just fine, because it's just the way it goes. Whatever is put there, if it gets ran over or tore up, will be at the expense of the county or the DOT to replace the initial ones. You can hold the owners to pay for those, but you can't have him continue paying every time someone or he or she to pay for them. But that would be something, and I would say that what we do, if you move forward with this tonight, there will be some type of traffic control delineators placed, and that we will reach out to FDOT. They have a guidebook, and we'll follow the FDOT standards for that. That way, the county's not creating a liability on the county or anyone else. That's the wording I would put in there, something along that line.
Yeah, I've noticed in Bell at the burger spot, people would park right by 129. DOT came in and put those up just to prevent people from getting in that area.
And then those aren't super expensive.
No.
They're not. And they will break away. So if somebody hits one, they're not gonna get hurt.
I would certainly like to see some type of deterrent, because I can just visualize people pulling off the road and parking.
Sure, and we can work with Mr. Menadier to, come up with a design that's DOT compliant. And perhaps reach out to DOT to, I don't know, that wouldn't require any permit for DOT if they're just putting, we just have to meet the standard.
If we're talking about the county road, no.
Then the state road, then, yeah. Okay,
That would have to be coordinated with Bill.
right.
Well, you can require it as part of your site plan, subject to approval by DOT.
Yes.
That's the way to do it.
But you're not going through as extensive of a process as if you're doing a driveway connection.
Yeah, it's gonna be on their property. It's not gonna be in the right of way.
Okay, I certainly think it's a good idea. I would be in favor of it. I don't know what kind of restrictions to put on, but we really don't know what we're looking at. Are we gonna need more parking spots? Are we gonna have problems with traffic? All those things, I'd like to be able to put some kind of, I think Mr. Crosby kind of mentioned that we just say a traffic deterrent on the right of way. Is that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, meeting FDOT standard.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah, all right, then, let's go back and look at it again, make sure I get it all right. So this is, let's see, SMD 2025-01.
That's special mapping district.
All right, I move to approve the SMD 2025-01.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion for Commissioner Martin and a second Commissioner Thomas to approve SMD 2025-01. That's the special mapping district. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. So you wanna do the SUP?
Yeah,
Mr.
I'll
if I
do
can
the SUP 2025-03, but is that the one that we need to add the?
Well, they're combined, SUP/SP 2025-03.
Okay.
Correct, if you want to take two motions to approve if you want two motions to approve the special use permit, and then a second for the site plan, we can do that. And just notate that should be approved with conditions as, presented by staff, as well as what you're going to add.
With the delineators to keep.
As the
people-
delineators traffic.
Yeah, with
So
the-
I move to approve SUP 2025-03 with the addition of the delineators that was talked about, for traffic control.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion for Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve SUP 2025-03 with the stipulations. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion passed. Now you need to do special use, special
Site plan.
permit,
Site plan.
site plan, I'm sorry. I don't know why I was saying special. Site plan 2025-03. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve SP 2025-03.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve, SP 2025-03. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Thank you, Justin.
And I want to thank everybody and, Duke and Bobby and the sheriff and all for, pointing that out because those are critical, things to consider. And I'm glad we put it in.
And Mr. Tabor, he'll prepare a final order for your execution is what he'll do. That incorporates everything we talked about
Okay,
with the existing conditions that he has.
then it'll come back for approval.
That doesn't have to come back for approval. He'll correct it.
Make the corrections for you to sign off on.
Yes, so we'll amend the development order to include the additional condition to provide the, FDOT approved, deterrence, yeah. Not the proper term, but you get the gist. Yeah, I'm not an engineer, I'm only a planner.
When you think about it a little while, you'll get the right term on it.
It'll come to me about 11 o'clock at night.
Okay, I've been asked to take about a 3-minute break.
Sunshine Law. We missing somebody.
Yeah,
We don't have one. You're gonna have to hit it louder. I didn't see him standing back there. He hadn't heard you. And all this kind of stuff, and it was upset her. She was gonna have a question and answer session with both ladies and commissioners. And I'll tell you, the way you got to do is sunshine laws, advertise it, have somebody take minutes. If you ask a question, you won't get in trouble. We'll do that.
all right, we'll call the meeting back to order. And, we had another concert at 4:45, culvert installation at various locations.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'll be taking care of this. We're submitting for a CDBG or Community Development Block Grant. And in order to be able to do that, we have to have a public hearing. So this hearing has been noticed of the Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners for the 2025 CDBG application cycle. The Florida Department of Commerce, Florida Commerce is making available $400 million in CDBG funding to communities impacted by Hurricane Ida, Debbie, Idalia, thank you. Debbie, Helene, Milton, and or the 2024 North Florida tornadoes. The Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners plan to apply to the Rebuild Florida Infrastructure Repair Program for the following projects. The first project is cover insulation at various locations, which will be estimated around $1.3 million. Those locations is Northwest 70th Way, Southwest 86th Way, and Southwest 25th Street. The second proposal is for Northeast 55th Avenue project, which is $1.2 million. And all of these are to help with flooding. These are locations that we have listed on our local mitigation strategy, or LMS. And in order to submit for that, we're required to have this public hearing, allow for public comment, and then, of course, the board approve submitting.
Bobby, do you know how long the process is for submittal and hearing back? Are we talking 6 months, or do you know?
No, sir, I do not know. The jail took 6 years.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, I think the way they're doing this time is sort of a newer way. A lot of times the CDBG funds were just sort of sent out to the counties, you pick project, but now they're doing it through this commerce. So I'm hoping that this is gonna be a lot quicker and faster process than before. But we've experienced, generators approved in 12 months, then another year, and then we've experienced 6 years on
You
construction.
start with a problem and submit the idea, and hopefully you get approved. I know all 4 of these locations, I've personally seen them underwater, and
Yeah.
I think it would help to be able to replace and work on those areas.
It's an opportunity that hopefully we can get the funding to, if not for all of them, at least repair 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I make a motion, we approve submitting the CDBG application for flooding mitigation.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the CDBG culvert installation project. Is there any public comment?
And for the record, did we get any written comments? I noticed it says it.
That's what we've received.
No record, no written comments made.
All right, any more discussion?
Is this just for number 1?
Would be for number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
And we didn't have to have a sign-in sheet for the
Well, the
CDBG?
sign-in sheet will be the one that Ms. Karen can furnish us for money.
Good, okay. Yep.
And this is for both projects,
Yes, sir.
okay? Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, we had another one at 5 o'clock, resolution 2025-28, a budget amendment.
Richard Garland, Finance Director. This is resolution 2025-28, a resolution of the Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners amending the general fund budget. This amendment increases the budget for expenditures for the sheriff, court, administration, law enforcement, and correction. Increased budget is recognized through the use of unanticipated law enforcement salary assistance, increased funding, and establishing an effective date. This is the increase in Lisa for this last question.
$44,138.
That's correct.
Motion to approve resolution 2025-25 and budget entry 25-011.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve resolution 2025-28 and budget entry 2025-11. Any more discussion?
You say 28.
Nobody else?
No, there may be a, hold on. One says on the agenda, it says 2025, but the resolution is 25-28. You said 28, but it's
Yeah,
on the agenda, it's 2025.
and Kendrick said 2025, I think.
I think you did too. That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying it's 28. You might want to correct that.
Yeah, it's resolution 2025-28. You see that, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And budget entry 25-011.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Can I ask real quick, we have an increase in the new budget year for this same line of funding?
So the reason that this is occurring is because Lisa is based on a state fiscal year. And the increase in Lisa that was approved on the contract on the last meeting
So it covers the new.
starts July 1st.
Okay.
And so this funding helps provide the additional funding for the increase from July till the end of this fiscal year.
Okay.
And then the other part was already budgeted for next year.
Hopefully next year, there will be, take it back to our. Process. Keep it safe. Say it won't.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Think we already voted. Never mind. All right, we have another one at 5:15, final budget hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we get started, I was asked, or I think Mr. Crosby maybe was asked to put in a budget summary of changes year over year. We just put that in for you to see. So it gives a breakdown of 2024, 2025, and gives you a difference for next fiscal year. You'll see total budget at 64.5 million for this year. Next year at 63, it's actually 63.5 million. The millage rate for this year at 8.7, and the board is looking to go to 8.5. The MSTU at 1.0 and going to 0.9026, and fire and solid waste both staying at the same rate of 170 and 120. And that's just for comparison.
Okay.
So moving on to the actual final budget hearing, we're going to start out with resolution 2025-29. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the final levying of ad valorem taxes for Gilchrist County for fiscal year 2025, 2026, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Gilchrist County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the Board of County Commissioners as $1,496,223,331. The fiscal year 2025-2026 operating millage rate is 8.5 mils, which is more than the rollback rate of 7.8566 mils by 8.189%. The fiscal year 2025-2026 aggregate operating millage rate is 9.4091 mils, which is more than the aggregate rollback rate of 8.7797 mils by 7.17%. This does include the principal authority, which is the general fund, and the dependent MSTU. We do need to approve this by roll call, and we do need to allow for public comment on this.
Okay, is there any public comment?
Move to approve resolution 2025-29.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Thomas to approve resolution 2025-29. Is there any more discussion? Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, that passes at 5:36 on a 4-0 vote. Next up, we have resolution 2025-30. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 in the amount of $63,508,471. This is the necessary budget to fund personal services, operating expenses, capital outlay, and reserves for the board. With this, the fiscal year 2025-2026 final budget will be adopted. We need to approve this by roll call, and we need to allow for public comment.
Motion to pass resolution 2025-30.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution 2025-30. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, do roll call. Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, that passes at 5:37 on a 4-0 vote. Next up, we have resolution 2025-31. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the final levying of ad valorem taxes for the municipal services taxing unit for emergency medical services for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date. Whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Gilchrist County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the Board of County Commissioners Municipal Servicing Taxing Unit as $1,506,957,263. The fiscal year 2025-2026 operating millage rate is 0.9026 mils, which is equal to the rollback rate. Need a motion to approve this. Needs to be by roll call, and you need to allow for public comment.
Yeah, motion to approve resolution 2025-31.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution 2025-31. Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll do it, approval by roll call. Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, that passes at 5:38 on a 4-0 vote. And lastly, we have resolution 2025-32. This is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, adopting the final budget for municipal services taxing unit for emergency medical services for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners Municipal Services Taxing Unit of Gilchrist County, Florida set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2025 and 2026 in the amount of $3,260,414. This provides the annual budget for EMS and is necessary to fund personal services, operating expenses, capital outlay, and reserves. With this approval, the fiscal year 2025-2026 final budget would be adopted. Again, need to approve this by roll call and allow for public comment.
Motion to approve resolution 2025-32.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by, Commissioner Thomas to approve resolution 2025-32, and a second by Commissioner Martin. Any public comment? Seeing none, Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passed.
For the record, that passes at 5:40 on a 4-0 vote. And Mr. Chair, that concludes our final budget hearing.
Mr. Attorney, did you finished yours, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and clerk only had the Department of Health, and we've already done that one.
Yes, sir.
Got all the time certain. Anything else before we go to commissioner report?
I'd just like to say, I thank the people that worked on all these budgets and stuff, and thank the Constitution officers, the sheriff, working with them.
Yeah.
Yep, do appreciate it.
Bobby Crosby. Everybody.
I would encourage us all to look with ways that we could maybe, start a little earlier next year if we can. And the other thing, of course, we planned on that this year, but it didn't work out. Right, but the other thing is maybe look at some ways that we can prepare for the future as far as in case we do have to make some cutbacks or something comes up. And, I know there's always tight budgets, but there may be some ways that we can do things different. I certainly will be trying myself.
Yeah, one of the things I think we did this year that'll help us moving forward is comparing what we spend per department, to other counties. And I know we've done some of that in the past, but it helps us, I think, understand where we're at. And I feel like our departments and department heads, the constitutional officers work hard to reduce and, come in with good budgets. And so we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We
do good.
Most of our expenses come with insurance and all that. And as long as the state keeps raising that, it makes it very difficult to be able to cut things here and there, because those things aren't negotiable.
The mandatories.
They're mandatories, and the mandatory expenses just keep rising and rising and rising. That makes it difficult.
And I think that's a lot of what the sheriff has to deal with, is mandatory, you know. And he does a very good job. Okay, we'll go to commissioner reports. Commissioner Smith?
I was just gonna remind everybody, the 100-year celebration feast is this Saturday at the, arena. And hopefully everybody got tickets and we can be there and celebrate Gilchrist County, being 100 years old. Also, I'm planning on attending the Florida Association of Counties has a legislative policy meeting in Gainesville this week. And that's where, I think maybe Commissioner Martin, you plan on being there, maybe? Yeah.
We'll have to talk to
Yeah.
see what day it is. I didn't get a.
It's Wednesday and Thursday, and so the committees meet and discuss next year's legislative policy and priority and
I
stuff.
won't be able to make this week.
Yeah.
Been preoccupied.
Yep. Well,
With my mother.
I understand that. We'll do the best we can. The other I was gonna mention is staff. I know Caitlin and Tammy and Bobby, others, y'all have been doing some things. I'm not on Facebook now, but I think y'all are doing some outreach related to what our departments are doing, kind of successes, and so we appreciate that.
Caitlin has been doing most of those and been doing a really good job.
Thank you, Caitlin.
She brings them to me to look at, but
Yep.
that's the only credit I can take.
I think we have some good things to tell, and it's good to get it out however we can, through the newspapers or, through Facebook or however we can do that. So thank you for working on that. That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Martin?
I just had some questions about all the, wire going in, what was it for and what was it? And you hear it's Windstream, or is it, any of the other, is it all Windstream, or?
Certainly
I
right
mean, there's people laying wire everywhere. Currently, right now, it's Windstream, and you're right, they're laying it everywhere because that is, part of the, rural initiative to get internet to all rural counties. They're coming to the deadline. Everything they're basically doing right now is paid for. They have a grant for it. But if they don't get it done, they don't have a grant. And there's no territorial boundaries for the internet. Normally around Gay Road, Windstream would be north, and then AT&T would be south, but there's no, so they're going crazy. We've shut them down 2 or 3 times. I've actually got a meeting with Windstream tomorrow just because of the way some of the contractors are out here doing work, messing up the sides of the road.
Yeah, well, that was some of the concern phone calls I had is they were wondering who the contractors were because they weren't pleased with what they were doing and some of them were kind of blocking some roads and on the side of the road and stuff like that. So, but it's not just in Gilchrist County.
It's everywhere.
I went out to Horseshoe several times and they're out on those roads in Cross City also. They're everywhere laying line. So, that's the only question I had was about that. So, nothing else.
Commissioner Thomas?
Nothing.
Nothing. I only have one thing. I got an envelope that was on my desk here. And, I have a brochure for every commissioner. It's called Common Ground, Land Conservation Guide for Local Government. Down at the FACT conference, I had talked to one of the groups there and they were in land conservation and started asking some questions to them. And, they sent me some, brochures to give everybody. I also went to a class down there about the wildlife corridor in the state of Florida, how they make a connection, up and down the coast. Part of it is, along the Swanee River. So, I'm gonna give everybody a copy of it and you can take a look at it. If there's, maybe a piece of property somewhere that somebody would like to maybe put in a land conservation organization like this or a fund, it tells you all the details on how they're doing it, where they're doing it, advantages and disadvantages of it, stuff like that.
Well, one other thing I do want to mention, I know Trenton's having their homecoming coming up, and their theme this year is 100-year celebration. So it goes along with the 100 years at Gilchrist County, and I thought that was a kind of a neat thing that they did with their homecoming is to tie it with our 100-year celebration in Gilchrist. I think it's Gilchrist County in the Century or something like that. I don't know the exact title of it, but I know it was it went along with our 100-year celebration, and I thought that was neat that they did that. So and they are 4-0 now, so if anybody likes watching football, they got a pretty good team this year.
Good.
So that's it.
Good gamers.
Yeah.
How soon will, that other project, Bobby, the 138, the retail store down at 138, how soon will that be coming back?
It won't come back.
It won't?
What, the 138?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We were talking about maybe doing some rezoning or doing something
It was the same
to make it
gentleman,
work.
so I was thinking about the 340-47.
No,
I don't,
60 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Justin has reached out to him, but he hasn't reached back out to us. Is that correct, Justin?
Yeah, we tabled it for 60 days.
We tabled it for 60 days, but they have some work on their side
right.
that they've been proposed 3 questions.
Yeah,
of how
Justin
they
gave
would
us
like
some
to-
options.
You, go ahead. You're fine, Justin. Come on up.
We gave them 3 options to consider. That was last week on Monday or Tuesday, and I haven't heard back from them yet. But, we'll check in with them. My plan is to check in next week if I don't hear from them before then.
Okay. I just wondered.
Yeah.
And they are working, on 138. I think they've got the last culvert, on this end down, and they've got to go back, I think, and get the one that they found and get it done. And I guess they'll start resurfacing, repaving. And the county has been out there trimming limbs, doing a real good job on that. It was definitely needed, but starting to look good. I'm excited about Dixie Highway too. I'm really look forward to that. I want to see the finished product. I hope we get it all the way. I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything? Public participation. Anybody like to address the board before we adjourn? Okay, thank y'all.